Welcome to She Who Rises Up. I'm your host, Lara, and my intention is to uplift, elevate, and empower you through conscious conversations that will support your growth, healing, and evolution. My mission is to empower women and support the rise of the feminine in the corporate world. My favorite quote is, "She remembered who she was, and the game changed." And this is my desire for you ladies to remember who you are so you could change your game. Please come in and join me. This is your podcast. Welcome back ladies to the sacred container. How are you? I am back. I'm back in Madrid after a few weeks of intense work in London, and I'm back to care for my mother. Things are a little testing at the moment, and I'm doing my best. And I like to approach these situations with curiosity. And by the way, I'm not on my own. Right now. I'm surrounded by furry beings, one of them being a pug. So they're very well known for their snoring. So if you happen to hear her, you know that that's her. That's the reason for that noise. Now today I would like us to focus on a topic called having high standards. And ladies, today I have so many questions to ask you. More questions than answers. And what I know is that these questions will prompt and bring up different things such as emotions, insights, answers, perspective, thoughts, because nothing has the power to give you a new perspective like a question. Questions are confronting. It will help us get clarity. It will help us bring awareness to a situation. It will help us know the real driver behind the decision or the action. Knowing our reason will also help us be intentional. And intention is what will help us have a more mindful life and be in the present moment. Because what happens? What happens if I don't have clarity on my intention? Literally anything can happen. And you know what, sisters? Most people don't go deep enough. Maybe because they don't know how to do it, or maybe because they don't want to do it. And instead they stay at a superficial level, which actually feeds and creates more superficiality. The deeper the question, the more profound the answer is. The deeper the questions, the more extraordinary the discoveries are. The discoveries about oneself. So let's go back to having high standards. What does it actually really mean? How many of you have really stopped to think about it and not just accepting it as a morally high concept or quality to have, something to be proud of? How do you know when a standard is high enough? How is a standard measured? Is it by output? So who and how is such output measured? And how do I know it's coming from a balanced space? So what are those standards truly driven by? Are they driven by what? Think about it. So what is the driver behind the driver behind the driver? What's feeding them? I have a thought. If I'm evolving and shifting, so are my standards. So does that mean that what was high one day might change next? And what would happen if I was to rephrase the concept of having high standards? What if I was to call it to always do my best? How does that feel? It feels more human, right? More grounded. And by the way, this is agreement number 4 of the book, The 4 Agreements, written by Don Miguel Ruiz. And it's one of my favorite books. And actually, agreement number 4 says, your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best. And you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Here's a few more questions for you. Who would you be without your high standards? Would you still be you? Or would you be consumed by your insecurities? Go and do this exercise. Pause this podcast for a second. And I would like you now to write down 25 reasons as to why you have high standards. Or what are the drivers of those high standards? What would you discover about you? I'm going to stop now asking for a moment. And what I hope is that through these questions, you have discovered the truth behind what's driving those high standards. Now, the good news is that it has also a light aspect to it. We were talking potentially about the shadow aspect of having high standards, but also has a light aspect to it. We will get on to that. But first, here's a truth bomb. What if I tell you that for many, what's driving those high standards is the fear of not being good enough, is the fear of being judged, of being inadequate, or wanting somebody's approval or validation? What if I told you that many people with higher standards are actually disempowered humans? Let that sink in. Let me share something personal here. I was raised in quote-unquote high standards. My surroundings were quote-unquote high standards. My parents' high standards made me go to fabulous schools and being driven in high-end cars and live in the most exclusive neighborhoods. And that's all cool. Then no wonder when I became a professional, I was proud of that, of having those high standards, and I was hired for it. So I got myself in industries that expected them, demanded them, rewarded you for them. Your reputation and future depended on them. But what I also did was perpetuate my fear. A fear of not being loved. Did anyone know? Oh no, of course not. But I didn't know it either. And this is what unconsciousness does. From the outside world, it was something I was proud of. I was pushing and pushing and pushing. And by the way, that's masculine energy in action. So not only I was perpetuating my own trauma and potentially the traumas of the teams I was looking after, I was also disrespecting my feminine. And I was also feeding a system that wants us disempowered anyways. So can you see, ladies, how a lack of self-awareness drives unconsciousness? That's why it's imperative, it's so important that we do the inner work, that we work on ourselves. And if you are a leader, you must do the work, because who you are is how you lead the team. Now, let's talk about now the light aspect of having high standards, right? So I have done the work, or I am doing the inner work. This means that my high standards will now come from a way more empowered space. It's coming from a place of, I respect my work. I respect you. I trust me. And I'm aware of the infinite possibilities of what I'm capable of. I am tapping into my highest choices and consciousness available to me at this now moment. Because I know by not doing so, I'm actually doing a disservice to humanity. Your work, my work, is an expression of the divine, showcasing itself through the beauty of what you and I create. Our work is a piece of art. So your work, my work, is actually an offering to the world. And that is sacred. So, here's the last question, which is the title of this podcast. Are your high standards coming from a place of consciousness or from a place of trauma and ego? Because ego is in service to you and consciousness is in service to love. And with that, I am going to bring this episode to a close. But before I do that, let's pick up a couple of oracle cards. And I'm going to do it from a deck called Soul Coaching by Denise Lynn. So let's pick a couple of cards and see what they have for us. Okay, very interesting. I wasn't expecting that. The first one is called Adventure. Adventure, wonderful new experiences fill my life. What comes with adventure? Adventure is the unexpected. Adventure is flow. Adventure is it's surprises. Yeah, I could see how is that linked to our conversation today. Shall we pick another one? Let's pick this one. See what we have. Oh, delight. Oh, I like this one. I delight in everything in my world, and divine joy fills me. So I delight in everything in my world, and divine joy fills me. Again, it's very interesting. Whenever I'm doing things, am I doing it from a place of joy, from a place of ease? Okay, sisters, so this is it for us for today. I really hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Please do reach out. Do reach out if you want to have a conversation, or if you'd like to provide some feedback about what you thought. How did this podcast help you today? Take care of yourselves. Speak to you very soon. Bye-bye. That's all for today, ladies. Thank you so much for joining this space, and I truly hope you found it insightful. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends and the women in your lives so they could also benefit from it too. If you want to get in touch, you are very welcome to contact me through Instagram, LinkedIn, or send me an email to support@laracalaf.com. Speak to you very soon.